We are live. This is the Icy Mike Imperfect podcast. Big shout out to Stevie K 1980. I appreciate you with the super chat, man. I realized in my last podcast that I didn't exactly cover everything that I set out to cover. We got sidetracked. We brought, some listeners on, which was exciting, and that's kind of the whole point, and I love to do that. But I didn't do everything that I was supposed to do on that podcast, which was talk about the times I got beat up. And I got beat up quite a few times. We're going to talk about several times I got beat up in middle school, the time I used my martial arts to kick two guys in the groin in the same fight. I still got beat up. The time I got wrapped up in duct tape and thrown down the stairs. And the time I got dropped on my head, which is the same as the first time. Anyway, we're going to talk about a bunch of times of me getting beat up in school, and you can extract from that what you will. I think our previous experiences do help form us, but I'm not bitter about any of it. All those beatings, I think, were valuable. But this is Icy Mike Imperfect, so I'm going to talk about things that are less than perfect, less than awesome, less than great about myself. That's kind of the point of this podcast, which is brought to you by All In Fitness in Grenada, Mississippi, which is a local gym there in Grenada, Mississippi. If you're in Grenada, you should go work out there. They do everything. But if you're not in Grenada, they've asked that you just use this opportunity to consider donating to St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. It's actually a super cool move on their part. I asked him, I said, hey, if you're sponsoring the weekly podcast, we got to do something. He's like, no. And I just want to support the podcast. And I was like, no, but I want to provide a value, provide a service. He was like, do the St. Jude thing. Super cool. But, have you ever gotten your ass kicked? I have. Pop a comment. Just let me know if you've had your ass kicked. How old were you? How many times have you had your ass kicked? Let's talk a little bit about that. Because I want to talk about the first time. Pralund Feucht. So we're beating up children for donations to the stream. You're a little confused. You've gotten what's happening. No one's beating up children. We're talking about how I got beat up as a child. Also, our sponsor's asking that you donate to St. Jude's Children's Hospital. But, answer my question. Have you ever had your ass kicked? I sure have. First, terrible. I used to get in fights all the time, but they were generally kind of even. But the first time I got my ass kicked, I actually hadn't been doing martial arts, but I used martial arts. The only school fight I ever got in where I used martial arts was before I ever took any martial arts. And it was one of the last times that my mom was going to tolerate me getting beat up and getting detention, which we talked about last week. So, here's what happened. This is going to sound like a late 80s, early 90s movie, but that's exactly how it happened. I used to get picked on a lot, and I used to talk a lot of trash, and my mouth used to get me in trouble, believe it or not. And I was in 6th grade, and I was peeing in the urinal, and I'm not kidding. I hate this part of the story because it sounds like it's not real, but I wanted you to understand this story doesn't sound real. I don't even want to tell it now. I will anyway. The guy legit said, well, what do we have here? Because I was in the locker room too late. The 8th grade was after 6th grade, and I was supposed to be gone. You weren't supposed to be in there while the next class was in there, and I guess I took too long getting out. And he legitimately said, well, what do we have here? And I turned around, and there was like 6 guys in a semicircle around me. Sensei says he had a crowbar, LOL. Yeah, that's what it sounds like. It's going to get even more ridiculous. There's a semicircle of guys. Right, just like that. He's like smacking he's like, well, what do we have here? No, they didn't have any weapons, but they were all eighth graders. They were bigger than me, which at that point in my life, fourth graders were bigger than me. I was in sixth grade. They were in a semicircle, and I didn't wait. I'd gotten in so many fights. I knew I was gonna have to fight. I knew these guys wanted to fight me. I didn't recognize them, but I thought maybe they'd wanted to fight me before. So I took a running start and I ran, and I did a running, jumping kind of side kick. I jumped really high. I jumped high. I jumped and did kind of a side kick, kind of a front kick. It was kind of like the hooligan kick that we've done a video on. It was just a jumping, just pushy type kick. I had not had any training at that point. I'd just seen a lot of movies, and I was a springy little guy. I jumped as high as I could, kicked as hard as I could, and I hit him in the groin. And he did what most people do when you hit him in the groin and they're not really that angry, because apparently they weren't really ready to beat me up yet. He doubled over in pain, grabbed his groin, and looked at me like, yo. I didn't wait. I turned, and I snap kicked another one in the groin. So now I've groin shotted 2 guys out of the 6. All right, so that's where the unbelievable part ends, because the rest is very believable. At that point, another one of them hit me from behind, and when I turned to look at him, a different one grabbed me, and he picked me up and turned me upside down like he was going to pile drive me, like he had his arms around my waist, and I was upside down. And then another one ran by and jumped, and they together kind of spike pile drivered me into the linoleum, the tile floor of the locker room. Onto my head split open. I think I was dazed. I don't know if I was knocked out. It's hard to know if you've been knocked out unless someone tells you were out. But a friend of mine named Josh picked me up and carried me out of there and to the principal's office where we told on them. Well, first of all, telling that story now, they were just like kind of acting like they wanted to fight me. I charged them. But I was cornered. I was a cornered little rat, so I did what any cornered rat does, and that's a flying sidekick to the groin. Anyway, they all got suspended. All of them got suspended. And 3 days later, and I didn't know who any of them were. I know who 2 of them are by name now. I can remember their names. I'm not going to use their names because they probably are decent. They're decent enough dudes now. I actually ended up knowing them in high school. But one of them, we'll call him AJ. We'll call him AJ Smith. AJ Smith came up behind me, and he grabbed me from behind 3 days later. I was walking out of the cafeteria, and a guy came up behind me and grabbed me in a bear hug from behind. And he said, "Remember me?" And I didn't know who it was at the time. So I was grabbed, and again, I watched a lot of movies, so I threw a back elbow. I threw it straight back. He had me in a bear hug from behind. I threw my elbow straight back. Guess where I hit him? In the groin, because everyone's so much taller than me. I hit him in the groin. He doubled over in pain and let me go, and I walked out. And now I'm feeling, I feel pretty good. I feel pretty tough. And he was leaving alone. And I went and sat on the planter. There were these planters, big square planters you could sit on. Everyone sat on them, and there was a tree in the middle. And they were maybe, like the size of this office. The planter. It was a big planter, but anyway, AJ comes walking by, and he's walking by like this. I'm right where you are, and he's walking by like this. And he says, "Hey, man, you hit me in my nuts." And then, this is a key point, guys. This is a key point. He turned and went this way. He turned and went this way. He grabbed me. I threw a remedial elbow. I nailed this guy in the nuts. He might have been one of the guys that already hit in the nuts 3 days earlier. He's tired of fighting with this little kid who keeps hitting him in the nuts and getting him in trouble. He said, "Hey, man, you hit me in my nuts." And he limped off holding his nuts. And he had his back to me. And I said, "That's funny. I didn't know girls had nuts," which in my little 11-year-old brain was a brilliant cut down. Just a 3rd-degree burn. I don't know if the words got all the way out of my mouth, but I remember he spun, and I don't know whether he punched me. It seems like he kept the spin going and came back around with an elbow. But a punch or something. But he hit me right square in the nose. Boom! Flipped me backwards into the planter. Jumped into the planter with me and proceeded to beat me senseless about my head and face. And was beating me so badly. The teacher, Mrs. Thompson, she was my teacher too. She was my gifted and talented teacher. She said she saw it and thought we were like playing. And she didn't come over there. In hindsight, I think he was just so much bigger and scarier than all the other kids. I think she just didn't want that smoke. So he beat me and beat me and beat me. And that was sort of when my mom was like, and then I think I got detention from that one. And that's when my mom put me in martial arts. Because she was tired of me getting beat up and getting detention. She said, if you're going to get beat up, you're not going to get detention. If you're going to get detention, you're not going to get beat up. Well, so that was the two worst beatings I ever got. I got dropped on my head and then I got my brains beat in. Pretty sure I got 2 concussions then that I never got diagnosed with. But what about you guys? Any of y'all ever got beat up? You can call into the podcast if you have the Podbean app. There's a link down in the description below. If you want to call in and tell us about a time you got beat up. I got beat up. I won't call this getting beat up, but do you want to hear about how I got tied up with duct tape and thrown down the steps? Who wants to hear that story? Click like if you want to hear the story about me getting tied up with duct tape and thrown down the steps on my first week of high school. And that's after 3 years of martial arts. Long John says, were they bigger than Sensei Seth? Well, they probably were the same size that he is. These were big kids, and I was little and they were big. Anyway, so the divide was even greater. Everyone just clicked like. So the story is actually not that. You already heard the story. I got tied up with duct tape and thrown down the steps. No, so I want to say my first week of high school. The first week of high school. All right, so we're gonna get into TMI territory. I had an issue with peeing. I spent like a 2-week period where I had to pee too much. Like I constantly had to pee, and I would only pee like a couple drops, and then 5 minutes later I have to pee a couple more drops. Right? So it was never like diagnosed as anything. I was too young for it to be. I didn't get it through doing anything fun or cool. It wasn't anything like that. I think they just called it urinary frequency syndrome, and didn't give it was just a blanket term. I think just for having to pee a lot. But anyway, it wasn't from anything cool or interesting. No fun nights in Vegas or Thailand. You know what I mean? I just had to dribble drop every 5 minutes. Well, what that did is that gave me like a free pass. I was allowed to get up and go to the bathroom without asking or talking or anything like that. Sensei Seth in the chat says he had that in college. I doubt it was for the same reasons that I had it if you were in college. But so I could get up and just go to the bathroom anytime. Brant Shepard says Mike's middle high school was every 80s bully movie. Yeah, it really was. I was like a magnet for this stuff. And to this day, I still am a magnet for weirdos. Constantly. Weirdos constantly showing up. Weirdos constantly either want to be my friend or interact with me or be my enemy or something. There's always just weirdos around me. Everyone around me is a weirdo. Everyone you see spending lots of time with me is a weirdo. Anyway, I could get up and go to the bathroom whenever I wanted. Well, one time I got up to go to the bathroom like maybe 3 minutes before the bell. And I just looked at the teacher. She knew, everybody knew that I had some kind of issue. I was like that kid. Well, I was going to the bathroom, or I was coming back, and the bell rang. But right as the bell rang, I don't know how this happened. Either right before or right after. I don't remember the specifics, but I remember being grabbed. I remember why it happened. I took my backpack because I knew the bell was going to ring while I was in the bathroom. I took my backpack, and these 2 kids, and they were huge. They must have been seniors, and I was a freshman, and I was the teeny tiniest little person. They duct taped my hands behind my back all through my backpack. Like I was all jacked up in my backpack. And then they pushed me down the stairs. Big wide stairs, like in high school. And I was on the landing. There was steps going down, the landing, and the steps going down again. And I was on that, and then the bell rang, and everyone came out as I was getting up. And I remember this kid. He was like trying to help me, and he was like just laughing hysterically because he just couldn't understand what had happened. And I remember he was trying to get the duct tape out, like it was all in my backpack and everything. And I still don't know who did that. I still don't know why they did that. I never got any context. I never heard about it. Just two guys grabbed me like right before the bell rang, duct taped my hands behind my back, and threw me down the steps. Akib says they just did that shit for no reason. Yeah, no. To this day, usually when something like that happens, someone would hear about it. You know, I did 4 more years at that school. You know, that was like the beginning of my freshman year, I think. I don't know why they did that or who did that, and I never heard about it. And I like knew people. You know, it seemed strange that I never heard. Hey, did y'all hear about them throwing that kid down the stairs? You know, like they tied me up with duct tape and threw me down the stairs. I don't know. Super weird. Let's bring in Mars Bars. What's up, man? How are you?
Hey, yeah, sorry for ending it off like I did last time.
Well, behave yourself this time, my friend. Have you ever gotten beat
Alright,
up?
alright. I won't do that again.
Have you ever gotten beat up?
Uh, I mean, not in school, no. I usually knew how to pick my fights. I mean, I'm not trying to be egotistical, but I'm just saying, like, I didn't mess with anyone bigger than me.
Oh, that must be nice to have people that are not bigger than you that exist. I
Oh
don't.
no, trust me, there were.
No, I know that there are people bigger than you. I'm saying when I was your age, there was nobody that was not bigger than me.
Oh,
Do you have anyone in your school that's like it's like all the kids are like this, like normal height, normal height, normal height, and then one kid that's like super way smaller than everybody, and then a bunch of normal height kids?
yeah,
Yeah, I was that little guy. That little kid that just seems like he looks like he's 8 years old and he's in middle school.
yeah.
Yeah, that was me, homie. So you never been beat up at all, ever? Not one time?
By my cousin, yeah.
That don't
You know,
count.
we'd wrestle all the
That
time.
don't count. That must be why
mm,
you're so cocky. Because you ain't never been beat up.
Well, I haven't practiced. I mean,
You
the
did.
other day,
Oh,
my
okay.
instructor, we're doing jujitsu, and we usually start out on the floor, on our knees.
Ugh, bear
But
fights.
yeah, but finally, I talked with him the other day about letting me, do some takedowns and stuff and start from the feet, and he did, and I pridefully got my ass whooped.
Mm. Well, hopefully all your beatings will only happen in the gym. That'd be good. That'd be healthy. Because then they can at least humble you, but you won't necessarily get injured or have psychological issues going forward. So,
Yeah. All right,
well
man.
then,
Well,
thank you for your call, my friend.
all right, I'll let you go. See ya.
That kid's funny. Oh, let's bring on. I believe that this is going to be Hayden. I guess we'll get all the kids in early in the first half of the show, and then we'll send them all to bed. What's up, man?
Hi, Mike. Is this you?
Yes, it's me, Hayden. How are you?
I am good.
Guess what we did? We made
How
your
are you?
video. I made a video on nunchucks for the street? Question mark, question mark, question mark.
Wait, you did?
We
It
made
didn't show up.
I haven't put it out yet.
Oh, you made it? Yay.
We already made it. Me and Sensei Seth made it this weekend, and it'll come out within the next couple weeks.
Yes.
Yeah. Have you ever been beat up?
Once
What
when I was
happened?
in 6th grade. Wait, hold on, just saying. And it was when I was in 6th grade, but now since school started, I'm in 7th grade
Oh,
now.
okay. So it was last school year?
Yeah.
Oh, man. What happened?
Okay, so I was about a few weeks into my martial art, alright, so I didn't know too much. And this guy, he was kind of sizing me up. See, back then I was little, but over the summer I grew like 4 inches.
Oh, cool.
And I gained like 20 pounds.
Wow.
Back then I was a real little boy. I was like 4 foot like 5, and I was like 60 pounds.
That sounds like me when I was 15.
And I was this real little boy, alright? So this guy, he kind of sized me up. So I say, okay, you want to do this? And he goes, and I don't know why. Look, I don't know why. Alright, Mike, look. I thought I was the stuff.
Right, because you did 3 weeks of martial arts, so you thought you knew what you were doing.
Yeah. I thought I was hard, you know?
Yeah.
And so I walk up to this guy because he sized me up, and I feel kind of threatened. And I say, hey, you want to do this? Let's do this. I'm doing the whole Clint Eastwood thing.
Yeah, you sound like a real tough guy. And I'm telling you what, you sound really intimidating. But he wasn't scared of you?
I know. No, and so now we're friends.
Oh, that's cool.
But I walk in there, right, and I get into my unorthodox fighting stance, freaking like, I don't know, I think it was like a reverse southpaw, which isn't even a thing.
You were making up your own thing, yeah.
Yeah, doing my own orthodox thing, and I was jumping like I've seen so many people do.
That's what I did when I got beat up. I did a jump kick.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, no, my bad. No, not the jump kick. I was like jumping up and down, thinking I was the stuff.
Oh, like getting hyped, and so jumping up.
So yeah. So I come up there, right? My chest is all puffed out, and I hold in my fist, and I got scared, and so I throw this weird like cross. He blocks it, punches me like in the shoulder, I believe, and then I try to throw a low kick. It like bounces off of him.
It did nothing.
And then he brings, and then he brings me to the ground, puts me in the chokehold, and I'm like, okay, and then I get up, and I kind of started it because I thought I was the stuff.
You weren't using your brain.
And now I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, now I know. Don't say, hey, you want to go. If that person puts hands on you, you have it right. But back then I thought it was the stuff.
No, you know better now, though, right?
And he put me, yes, sir, and he put me in the rear naked, which was the most embarrassing because I couldn't break out of it.
Yeah.
Now me and this guy are like best friends.
Oh man, that's cool. Well, that's good that you learned a lesson and made a friend out of it, and you didn't get hurt too bad. But let's not do that anymore. Yeah. No fighting at school, okay?
No.
That's probably the best tactic is to make friends with the guys who can beat you up.
Yeah. That's why Sensei Seth comes and does videos with me, so he'll be my friend, so I won't beat him up.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he threatened one time that he's going to travel and beat me up, and here we are.
Hey, just saying, Mike, when you and Seth, like, karate style sparred, and you hit him with the Stinger Tactical, Seth, how bad did that hurt? I didn't get a chance to see that video yet. Let's see, it's the school week, all right? So I'm not allowed to watch that much TV because my grandma won't let me. My grandma said that I could go on your podcast, though.
Okay.
And it started early today, so.
Okay, cool. Well, yeah.
It hurt pretty bad, buddy. It was rough.
Dang. Isn't it just like a steel cord attached like this Kubotan looking handle?
Basically, that's what it is.
Like glass breaker?
That's exactly what it is.
It looks like it would hurt.
It hurts very bad.
Like it would hurt. For some reason, I kind of want to get hit by it, kind of like how Maddox wants to get.
You can't do that. You have to be 18 to get hit by it.
Do you know how Maddox, he wanted to get hit by the chair for no reason?
Yeah.
That's how I feel about the Stinger Tactical.
We did hit him with the chair. We just couldn't put it on video.
What was his reaction? Did he like Ultimate Warrior just like absorb it, or did he like?
He no-sold it. He acted like it didn't hurt.
Yeah, and then he said, "Man, no other kids should do this."
Yes, no, you shouldn't do that stuff, Hayden. Listen, you have all the time in the world to do that stuff. Don't worry about doing stunts and crazy stuff. Now, your grandmother's right. You should be mostly worried about school during the week. Watch a little bit of TV and YouTube on the weekend, but don't get yourself hurt. Just go to practice, and no more fighting at school, okay?
Yeah, I learned that one real quick.
All right, man. I'll talk to you later.
Hey, wait. I have one more question.
Okay, go.
When in the beginning of the first time I was ever on your podcast, when I got all emotional, I don't know why I said it, but because I was using my grandmother's account to get on here, all right, I accidentally said no, this isn't Hayden, this is my grandma's name.
Mm-hmm.
I was wondering if you could take that out because I show my grandma and she approves of it, but she doesn't want her name on there.
I'll see if
So
I
is there
can.
a way that you,
I'll see if I can do that.
just take her name out.
I'll see if I can do that.
Is there any chance you
All
can
right.
change your name?
Yeah, just tell your grandma. No, I'll tell her I'll do my best to see if I can edit that part out.
All right, she didn't want her name.
I
All right,
got it.
thank you guys.
All right,
Bye-bye.
man. Later.
See you, buddy.
What's up, Seth? We're gonna take one more caller, and then we're gonna. I'll be getting another time I got beat up.
Oh, okay.
What's up, Stevie K?
Hey, Mike, how's it going?
How are you?
I'm good. Just a sec. I just got to make sure I'm nice and still here.
You ever been beat up?
Yeah. It's actually this guy named David Kilner.
Damn,
I
this
remember-
guy's whole name on blast.
Killner.
He lives and
Why'd he beat you up, man?
You know what? He was just one of those guys that like bullied, and I'm like you, Icy. Like I'm 5'5", 5'6". I'm 160 now,
Damn.
but
Damn, homie,
you
might need to get on that elliptical a little bit. But go ahead.
jeez.
Okay. No, I got some muscle, man.
Okay,
I got put on
all
some
right.
muscle mass.
All right.
So
You must
I
be,
know,
dude. You must be super jacked. If you're telling me you don't need to spend some time on the elliptical, you must be jacked at 5'5",
I'm not
160.
I'm not jacked.
Then you
I'm not
might can
jacked,
stand
but-
to row for 15, 20 minutes every day then, huh?
Okay,
Anyway, go
okay,
ahead.
All right.
It says Icy
So-
Mike Imperfect, man. Listen, those two young men used up all my nice points, people. So when you call
you
in
can go
tonight,
ahead and beat. You can go on. By the way, I appreciate how you're treating Hayden because I was listening to his other podcast and like he idolizes you guys, and I think it's awesome that you guys are nice to the kid.
yeah.
So
well, he
anyway.
used up all the goodwill. So y'all keep messing around with me and turn me back to the old me.
So anyway, this guy David Kilner, okay,
Mhm.
he was bullying me, right? And he would. This is going to sound a little weird, but it's just burned in my memory, right?
Right.
I was only in grade 3 at the time, but he would follow me to the washroom,
Uh-huh.
right? And then he would grab a ruler,
Uh-huh.
right? And be like, he would whisper, it's coming,
Uh-huh.
right? And then,
It does
like,
sound weird.
when you go to the washroom, you got to go pee, right?
Usually.
So I just start peeing, right? And he would walk up and he would just start whacking me with the side of the ruler in the back of my thighs, right? And then he would laugh at me because I peed all over myself, right?
Yeah.
No, you guys can laugh, right?
Hey,
So-
all you doofuses, all the doofuses in the comments making Eminem reference. Actually, that's Dr. Dre that says that line. But anyway, continue.
No, it's okay. So anyway, so finally I said, I'm gonna fight you. And I remember I told my dad, right? And this is just honest. This is imperfect, right? I said, Dad, I'm gonna fight David today. I'm gonna fight, right? So I challenged him, and he was a lot bigger than me. Probably the size difference between you and Seth
Oh, okay.
back in grade 3, right?
Oh, yeah.
And I remember, like, I was a green belt at karate at the time.
Ooh, whoa, look out.
Oh yeah.
Mike's
So-
not even a green belt yet.
Didn't Jesse give you a yellow belt yet?
Yes, Jesse Ankamp did. Jesse Ankamp himself flew here and personally gave it to me.
So anyway, I remember I sidekicked.
That's the
him,
only
right?
person I would ever learn karate from anyway, is Jesse Ankamp. But go ahead.
Anyway, so I sidekicked him a couple times, right?
didn't
Which
work.
I know
Didn't work
it
at all.
Didn't work. It didn't work. It didn't work at all. And then I headbutted him,
That did work.
and I made his nose bleed.
Mm-hmm.
And then he turned to me and he gave me the look. I was like, "I'm gonna kill you."
Yeah, you messed up. You didn't follow
And
up.
then I headbutted him again, and it didn't work.
Mm-mm.
And then he literally just grabbed me, picked me up, threw me on the ground, and started just laying the boots to me,
Oh, wait.
right?
Ooh.
And I remember I didn't lose consciousness because he was kicking me in the ribs, but I remember like the recess bell rang and we were fighting in a corner so that we knew like the teachers couldn't see us.
Oh, you were in a blind spot.
Yeah, because like I was like my dad was like, you got to face this kid. It doesn't matter if you want to lose, right? And I remember like coming home to my dad because I can't remember how old you are in grade 3, right? I think you're like
8.
8.
8, yeah. And I remember just like coming home and like breaking down and crying and be like, Dad, I fought him and I lost. And he's like, that's okay. He's like, you got to lose sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Is your
he
dad
looked at
Mark
me, he goes,
Wahlberg?
No, no. He
That
goes,
was a good Mark
He goes,
Wahlberg
it
impersonation.
sucks, doesn't it?
Why is your dad Mark
Because
Wahlberg?
Oh, I wish he was, because then I'd be, a little bit more
It's okay, guy.
well off than I am now.
It's all right.
Now, before I go, I gotta ask you a question, okay? Because I watched you guys' video of jujitsu.
Or a
What's
loose
the-
approximation of jujitsu.
Oh, okay. What is the weight difference?
Oh, all of it, all of the weight. I don't know. I would guess Seth is at like 215,
Okay.
220, 225.
225. I
Okay.
hover between 145 and 150.
Right, because like I said, this is gonna sound a little weird, but I primarily take care of my kids. You guys know I'm a medic too, right?
Right.
But I had to take part-time to take care of my kids, so I outfitted my basement in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu mats and floor matting.
Sick.
So I have 2 guys come over, right? And one's a purple belt and one guy's a white belt. But the purple belt is 215 and the white belt is 250.
Yeah. So you're in trouble.
No offense, Icy. I saw you with the huffing and puffing, and I'm like, I know how that guy feels. Because to wrestle that kind of weight difference is just it's totally exhausting.
Oh yeah, and a purple belt that big, you're not going to be able to do anything with anyway.
No. He's kind of the instructor.
Yeah, he's just letting you. He'll let you work, and then he could.
Yes, he'll let
squeeze you
you
to death
work.
anytime he wants.
Yeah, the white belt guy, he just destroys me. But he's not like I'm still a white belt, but I've been training for 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
So I just haven't been able to get to a gym to commit to.
Right,
a
no one's going
class
to give you a
as long as
belt.
they
You're in the
my
same
kids.
boat as me. Same boat as me.
And I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I just want to learn, right? So
Yeah.
I can actually hold my own. But after we roll for 4 minutes, and after the 3rd minute, it's just hard, man. And just no offense, watching you being gassed like that, I'm like, I know how that guy feels.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could use to get on the row machine for a couple minutes,
No, that's because then I'll lose weight.
No, he's talking.
That'll
He's making
lose
fun
weight.
of me, Stevie. Don't listen to him.
Oh. Okay.
All right, Stevie. Thanks for calling in, man.
All right, you
See
take
you,
care. You guys are awesome.
Yeah. So getting tired, and then getting your ass kicked is like double worse, double bad. So some people made fun of me because I gassed out when we rolled, Seth. But
Really?
well, a couple people because I've often made claims about having an endless gas tank.
Yeah.
But if you know anything about martial arts and combat sports and fighting, you know that weightlifting gas and interval training gas and striking gas and grappling gas are all come from 4 completely different types of tanks.
Yeah, very different. To be fair, we also had just sparred too.
We'd been going all day. We'd sparred all those rounds earlier in the day. But it wouldn't matter because I could do limitless, like 3-minute kickboxing rounds. I can do that. I don't know that there's a number that I can't do unless I'm going with people who are really, really good, like really pushing me.
Yeah.
But against you, all day. Now grappling.
I've got your number.
No, yeah, it's 75. 75 pounds is my number. Grappling, but it's different gas. Even when I grapple guys my size, if I'm not on top, I lose gas. And the analogy I made is if you take a gas tank and you turn it sideways and the fuel isn't getting in that fuel line, that's not the same tank. You need a different tank for grappling.
That's actually a pretty good analogy, I must admit.
Oh, thank you.
That's solid.
But it's different, and it's the same when CrossFitters would come over and just hit pads. And these are dudes that can they can go all day doing really difficult things that I can't do, but they hit pads for 90 seconds and they're toast.
Yeah, right.
Seth, you ever had your ass kicked? Besides me? And besides Wonder Boy?
I don't know if I've never like been,
Well, you were always big
really
and you were
worked.
nice.
Well, I was also the kid whose dad was the like small town karate teacher, so everybody wanted to.
Everyone kind of wanted to see what that was like.
Yeah, a little bit. I did get in a fight one time in like the 8th grade, but I kind of started it.
You know, that's a common. Doesn't that seem to be a common occurrence? I wonder in the chat if you're not wanting to call in, the times that you did get your ass kicked, was it times you started it? Because that, like you said, you kind of started it and you were young.
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
how
I was
my
like
worst ass kicking was. That's how the other guy's ass kicking was.
I was like a rude hormonal middle schooler, and this kid took our basketball. So I kicked him, not completely purposefully, but it might have been.
Oh
a little
yeah,
bit.
you did tell me that you said you were kind of going for the ball, but kind of not trying to not kick him.
Yeah, right. If it would have hit him, it would have hit him. And then he got up and he punched me, and then I pushed him, and we both just kind of like it simmered out.
Yeah, you didn't do that right though. He punched you, and then you pushed him.
Yeah.
That's
Yep.
like.
So I was in the range to punch him, and I pushed him instead. The fight ended, but I got punched in the face.
Yeah, no, but you don't push somebody that punched you. That's you're taking a step back there.
Yeah. Well, I was.
That's
I
like
was,
he ordered a
you
steak, so you brought him, a hamburger.
Well, you could argue that I was de-escalating the fight. I was trying to take it down steps.
That's not how you do it, then.
But
You
it
de-escalate by apologizing, not by like doing less efficient violence to the person. That reminds, dude.
A gun,
Well,
so I pulled out a taser.
Yeah, no. What's funny? You are a big person and you're a nice person, so you're probably not like. We were doing a training exercise and there was this woman. We were trying to get her to, get this guy out from behind a door. It was like force on force, like simunition guns.
Mm-hmm.
And she shot him, and then told him, "Sir, come out from behind that door." Like they were in a gunfight, but she was still like giving verbal commands, and that's a step. Officer presence, verbal commands, empty hand soft, empty hand hard. Yada yada yada. But they were in a gunfight, and she was trying to like make sure she gave those good verbal commands while the gunfight was going on. She said, "You come out from behind that door, pow pow. Come out from behind the door, pow pow."
I missed a step. Hold on.
Yeah.
Stay
No,
right there
just
for a
keep
second.
shooting. We're past that. It's not time to push. He's punching you.
I promise I won't be mad if you come out.
Yeah. Oh, man. Some eagle-eyed viewers spied the nunchucks in your video, so they knew the nunchuck video was coming.
Well, I'm glad I at least didn't spoil it so much.
Yeah. Well, that's okay. I posted on Instagram that we were doing all that stuff.
Yeah.
Look
you
what I
also
got today.
spoiled
Do you remember from your
my intro.
weapons bit? I told you that I didn't know anything about brass knuckles.
Yeah.
Look what I got. I got some brass knuckles. Look at that. Oh, like a wrestling mask. That looks cool. That's gonna be the thumbnail when I do this. You can't see what I'm doing, but I'm making it a mask.
I'm sure.
Look
it's
at that.
very
Somebody
cool,
screenshot that and then send it to me.
Clip it.
They suck. They're terrible. It's worse than a Kubotan.
it
Spoiler
really?
alert. When I do the video on brass knuckles, it's worse than a Kubotan.
Make sure you reference that. I think you gave it. Oh no! Should I? Yeah, I can say. It's my video. What am I?
Yeah.
I think you gave them a C.
Yeah.
You
I'm
that lip.
before Unicorn Black Belt says, "Yo, you should try to follow my chuck tutorials." I think that's the young lady on Instagram that does nunchucks.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah. I think she does Taekwondo. But
It's less sick, but
the sorry. These things suck, man. They're terrible. I think the only way you could make them is if they were custom made. Like I think this would work if I could if my fingers snugged up right against each other, but it creates a gap in between my pinky and ring finger. It's the pinky that causes the problem. Everything holds together but it's the pinky. The separating of the pinky and the ring finger,
Yeah.
it jams them right into your pinky if you get anything but a perfect shot on anything with any firmness.
Yeah, I feel like people who are going to use brass knuckles also aren't the people who can afford to get custom made brass knuckles. Like I feel like if you have brass knuckles, you automatically have a
Right.
chain that connects your front pocket to your back wallet.
These I could definitely get a pair, and it would be a tax write-off though. I get a pair
That
of
is
custom.
true. You could, for sure.
Get some brass knuckles fabricated. It's this gap for those of you watching. It's this gap here. I'm gonna do a full video. I'm gonna give it some more time. I'm gonna like take them up to the studio and actually like check out. You know what I mean? I'm gonna give it a thorough. I'm gonna try to learn how to use them and see if I can find any information on them. But it doesn't seem.
Punch a shield or two.
No, I'm not doing that anymore. That's dumb. We've got a new method that we're going to use to test impact weapons at the studio.
I believe I know that method.
Yeah, that's not. I've put that video thumbnail up today too. We're doing some breaking. Who's excited for breaking?
The Taekwondo person definitely is.
Yeah, she probably thinks it's cool. Brandon Fraser says, yeah, you're supposed to hold it on your bottom knuckles instead and then rabbit punch. There are brass knuckles that have 1 or 2 holes for that problem, plus aren't brass knuckles illegal in some states. Yeah, and that's what the problem with weapons, and we talked about this a little bit. People are going to say hold it differently. Some people are going to say hold it not like a normal punch, but like this, but they don't really fit in there, and that's even worse and scarier and sketchier. Some people are going to say hold them like this, and some people are going to say hold them. I promise you, if you have to do that much gymnastics to make them useful, it's not going to work. Like, could you imagine if I said, if I handed you a machete and said, the only way you can make this work is, like, no, dude. You could know diddly squat about a machete, and you could jack somebody with a machete. That's why that thing ranks higher.
The goal is to, like, have something that you can use even when your senses are, like, pretty much muted.
Right, because what happens when we fight?
You get that tunnel vision.
Yeah, you get slow and dumb and lethargic. I was thinking about that today, actually. Just as I was picking, I was going to the mailbox to get these, and I was thinking about the first couple fights I had and how my arms felt like just garbage and just like I felt lethargic and heavy while I was trying to fight. Everyone thinks they know how to.
All wonky too.
Huh?
Your hands get all wonky too.
Everything becomes terrible. You become slower. Everyone thinks they turn. This is why when I'm drinking, I don't pick fights. Like, you know how people pick fights when they've been drinking?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it's because I have strong proprioception. I don't know. But when I'm drinking, I'm super scared of everybody. I feel like I'm going to immediately fall over. I've analyzed. I know. I'm like, this is what's going to happen. Adrenaline's going to hit me. My reaction time is slowed already. My reflexes are slowed. My balance is compromised. My judgment is poor right now. I just feel super scary. Like I would tell, like if some guy was messing with Kristen, I'd be like, "You're on your own, babe. I can't fight. I've had 2 beers.
I'm good. Look, did you start it?
I've had 2 Bud Light Limes. I'm not qualified to do this anymore." Because fighting sucks and fighting's hard.
Yeah. You ever think it has something to do with like the mindset of just not caring? And when most people drink, they get to a point where they just like don't care. Or if you're starting a fight, it's because you didn't care. And maybe like I have a hard time believing that like a mindset change changes the body's natural reactions of like going into the like heightened state of adrenaline. You know what I mean?
Yeah, one statement that I catch some flack for occasionally. A lot of people agree with it. I don't catch too much, but occasionally I catch some flack when I make the statement that I think intelligence, the more intelligent you are, the more difficult it is to learn, the more difficult it is to engage in violence.
Yeah, right.
Now, it can be overcome, but I consider it a disadvantage. If you're extremely intelligent, you understand more acute, and you have good imagination, you understand all the ramifications and possibilities, I think that slows you down. Now, you can overcome it and use that. It's just like if you are skinny, you know what I mean, or you're short, you can overcome that and even use that to your advantage. You know, you can use your intelligence, but I think by default, the more intelligent and imaginative you are, the more difficult violence is for you. It's my opinion.
Yeah, I'd say that's fair. I mean, like, I could get in any fight, and I would have in the back of my head, oh, I definitely could beat this person. But there's also a chance they could catch me with something crazy.
Right. And you say, I don't want to hurt someone seriously. I don't want to go to jail.
Right,
I don't want to, I might lose, If you're smart at all, you understand all that.
Yeah. But if you're not, who cares? Like,
Yeah.
What are you going to lose? A couple more brain cells?
Yeah, that's why people that have nothing to live for and have no, nothing going on with themselves are so quick to violence.
Yeah.
Let's see. Let's check in. We got a caller. His name is Timing. Let's bring in Timing. Timing, you are live.
What's up, Mike?
What's up? How are you?
Not bad. How about yourself?
You ever had your ass kicked?
For years and years, but not like in an actual fight. It was all during training.
You never had your ass kicked in real life?
No, I've never been like into an actual real fight my whole life. Thankfully.
Wow.
Yeah.
What do you think will happen? So you've had lots of training though. If you've had your ass kicked, a lot of training.
Yeah, I've been training for like 10 years. I got my brown belt in jiu-jitsu and stuff like that, but
So what do you think? And you've competed, right?
A few times, handful of times. Competing scares the shit out of me, so I need to do it more. I was gonna do it more this year, but the COVID got us.
Yeah. So competition makes you scared and nervous.
Yep, absolutely.
So we're talking to a smart person. That's how we can tell it's a smart person because average.
I'm sorry. You can go ahead.
No, go ahead.
That's actually why I called because you guys were talking about it, and I think it's more the more you know about what you like. Like I know what real violence is because like I've been training for so long, so I've seen it day in day out at the gym. So I know what I can do to somebody, but I also know that person could do the same thing to me. And at the same time, you never know who you're bumping into at the bar, at the whatever it is, restaurant, theater, bar. You don't know what he knows or what if he has a weapon, a gun, whatever it is.
And you also don't know what's gonna happen to you when the real adrenaline hits you.
Yeah, exactly.
We would like to think, and this is why it's very cool that you're this humble, because the average Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu brown belt, first of all, the average Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu brown belt can defeat 99% of the people on the planet. You know what I mean? That's a severely difficult standard to meet. And it signifies a tremendous understanding of grappling and plenty of time on the mats. But then to still realize that, like, hell, how do you know you're going to do any of it? The person might be like, let's fight, homie. And you might be like, and do nothing.
I mean, at the end of the day, all my training has been, like, at the end of the day, I knew nothing bad was going to happen to me. Like, if I went and grapple, or even even if I sparred somebody, because I've done Thai boxing, everything. At the end of the day, the worst thing that could happen to me is maybe I get dropped, or maybe I get submitted, maybe I go to sleep for a little bit.
No one's gonna kill you, and if anyone does anything terrible, they're gonna apologize.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas in a real situation, you don't know what the fuck's gonna happen. You know what I mean? Like, and at the end, when I did my first competition, when the adrenaline hit me, my whole body shut down. Like, I didn't get no adrenaline rush where I got super strong and shit. Like,
people don't. That's not how it works. Everyone thinks that's how it works because they maybe got lucky, Interesting comment. Preland says, how would you say does Mike Tyson fit your intelligence assumption? Because Mike is everything but stupid. I'd say people are saying, that Tyson is so smart, but he's also like super duper proficient at violence. And for those of you who don't know, maybe if you're like kind of casual about this stuff, a lot of people think that Tyson is a doofus. You know what I mean? But if you actually hear him speak about anything, you realize that he's far more intelligent than like his voice and his action. He's way smarter than people give him credit for. So, Preland, to answer your question about how can I reconcile the fact that Mike Tyson is so intelligent and nearly the ultimate example of someone capable of violence. He's what we call an exception, but he's a particular type of exception. He's the Mike Tyson exception. Like, that's so crazy when someone's like, boop. When it's like the karate and MMA thing. Like, I don't know if karate's a good base for MMA. What about Leona Machida? It's like, well, that's Leona Machida. What about Wonder Boy? Like,
well,
you're not Wonder Boy.
not about the karate thing, about the Mike Tyson thing. Like, he's smart, but then he also applied the smart and the time to getting really good at violence.
Yeah, and like I said, it's a thing that can be overcome, and there are exceptions. Tyson is also a bit of a sociopath. You know what I mean? He's also a bit of a psycho. So that stuff helps with doing violence.
Yeah, you don't bite an ear for no reason.
Yeah, if I'm a genius, but I'm also a psychotic or extremely bipolar, that's going to help me do violence, despite knowing how bad it can be.
Right.
Yeah, I would also argue that Tyson started with violence. You know what I mean? Like, he started like that, and then he became intelligent as time went on.
Yeah, it's hard to know because he didn't do, all the talking we know of him as a younger guy. It was all crazy talk. Yeah. We don't get to see like his real thoughts until now.
Like after he's learned from all his mistakes.
Yeah, so he might not have been. This might be like a new man. But you know what I think it is? Why some people are struggling with this is because if I say that if you're intelligent, it makes fighting difficult. They either have to say that you either have to say you suck at fighting or you're dumb, like to fit into that. So, guys, it's possible that you are both intelligent and good at fighting. I'm saying that the more intelligent you are, that's an inhibitor to your, maybe not your proficiency, but your willingness and capability to do violence. Is that fair enough? It's okay. You can be smart and tough at the same time, which you're probably not. But anyway, well, thank you for calling, my friend. I'm super excited that somebody called in that was willing to say like, "Hey, I should know what I'm doing, but I'm scared to death of it." That's real. I think that's healthy and realistic, and I really appreciate you, man.
It's no problem. Great time,
you guys.
All right, later.
Take it easy.
What about, so Seth, like, what do you think would happen, like, right now, gas station, some guy wants to fight you, right? But wait, let's not do a gas station because you have limitless room to run around.
Sure, yeah.
Restroom, public restroom. Ooh. Some guy comes up, you're peeing, he comes up with a ruler, starts smacking the back of your thighs.
I don't like the sound of your pee hitting the toilet.
Some guy with a ruler smacking the back of your thighs when you're at the urinal, making you pee on yourself. He starts laughing. It's time to fight.
Yeah.
What do you think would happen to you?
To me? I'm at a point where I feel like I would do what I need to do to at least get out of the bathroom. I have this like constant fear that somebody's gonna realize pretty quick into the fight, like if I'm not trying to end the fight, that they can't beat me. And it's gonna be like, okay, what's my option that's better than his fists? You know what I mean? Like,
does no part of you ever feel like, man, I might not do well?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's definitely like that portion in the back of my head. Like, there's the greater good in me, which is like, nobody's gonna want to fight me if I know they train. And then I'm like, oh yeah, I forget there's like, specific type of BJJ guys out there that are like, I just like to fight. You know what I mean?
Do you know do you know that people freeze when they're under stress or when they're attacked or when there's violence. People freeze. And it happens whenever anything that you're not expecting, that's like far outside of what you're expecting happens, it's hard to get the gears turning. When people are attacked, everyone thinks I would leap into action. My favorite example is people that know for a fact that they would go insane crazy if someone threatened their children. You know?
Right.
But we see video after video after video of assaults on children or involving children where the parent is even present and they just look kind of frozen. And that's not a knock on them. That's normal. The thing is, the people that aren't aware that that's a possibility. I was going to the mailbox to get my brass knuckles, and I was thinking like if someone like attacked me at the mailbox, I was like, what would I throw a left hook? My right hand is. Would I kick? Like what do I do now? If the timer says 3, 2, 1, beep beep beep, and we touch gloves, I know exactly what I'm going to do. I'm gonna do all kinds of stuff. I'm gonna be super violent. But just like our friend Timing said, that's because I'm relaxed. I mean, I can be stressed out. I've sparred with people that were very stressful to spar with, but I knew nothing terrible could happen to me. Not permanent.
Yeah, it's like a controlled violence. Do you have like your go-to, like? So it's different when you like have an idea, you see it coming, you see like a buildup of an aggression, or if you just get like that jarring, this is happening right now.
Jumped, like you jumped.
Yeah. Do you have your like in the back of your head your go-to? This is the first thing I'm doing.
Yes.
If I feel that build of aggression and it becomes a fight.
Yes. Yes, I do. And it's good that you brought that up because that actually is part of the puzzle because you have to have that like chambered, like ready. Right. Because you won't be able to think of what you're supposed to do. Like you won't be able to make a conscious decision under stress until you've been inoculated against stress. You will not rise to the occasion. You can inoculate yourself to the degree where you're more capable of thought under stress, but by default you do very little thinking of what you're supposed to do. So if you've already decided what you're going to do, that's one less step.
Yeah. No, yeah. It's that like that go-to and constantly thinking about it, like situational stuff is huge.
Yeah, like visualization, and that's not just for fighting. That goes for anything. Like, what are you going to do if you're a lawyer and you're running through a case and you're like, okay, if they ask this or if they start talking about this, I have my thing that I'm going to do. You know, a doctor, he's like, if while I'm doing this procedure, we nick this and it starts bleeding, what do we do? Like, you can't think about that in the moment. You get better at that with experience. Like dudes that do violence professionally, and that's the other thing, it's a perishable skill because I don't feel as sharp as I did when I was having to like fight with dudes all the time. There was times when I was like kind of ready to go all the time. It would pop off and I'd be running and jumping and pulling out my gun and like doing all kinds of stuff with a kind of a relaxed, laid back kind of feel to my, I wasn't super stressed about it and I was like making conscious decisions. But right now I feel sort of rusty. In the self-defense aspect, I feel great. Right. Ring, mat, cage, competition, friendly sparring, unfriendly sparring. I feel fine.
Yeah.
Better than ever. Better than I've ever been. But I feel less prepared than ever for like self-defense.
I get way more nervous regarding like the unknown of not even just like hand to hand, but like what somebody else has got that I don't. Like that's the part that gets me pretty bad. Is like worst case, if I don't do a good job of like subduing this person, and like they realize that it's not going to go well if they don't use their tools. That's the main one I get worried about.
Yeah. I'm been thinking about it too much lately. It's kind of unhealthy. It stopped being fun. We got some haters in the chat, man. Are you watching the Podbean chat? Are these haters?
No, yeah, I have.
Is it haters? Rowdy. Are they talking to me? Are they talking to each other? What are they doing?
No, it's like they've got like a territory thing going on. It's like they sit at different lunch tables and they're upset about just probably.
What is it like? Is it like
which of their chairs
is it
squeaks
kung
less?
fu and ninjas talking to each other, or are they?
No, it seems like it's countries.
It's like a national pride thing.
Yeah.
Like, are they mad because we're American? What is the issue?
Who knows?
Sorry. Slide Carnivore, you are live. What's up, man?
Hello. I just wanted to pick up on like the whole like getting bullied and beat up when you're.
Yeah, you ever had your ass
kicked?
kicked?
I feel like that's gone. Repetitively, yeah. My mum put me into karate when I was 6 or 7. I did that until I was 13. Got a brown belt in that. Moved on to other things. But I was just profusely bullied. I was the naive little kid that just thought that there was good in everyone.
Oh man.
Yeah. Specifically, like the worst kind of stuff happened outside of school. Because inside school, with the karate training, I would be covering a large amount of distance, so there would usually be
Yeah,
a
you could
member
run
of
away.
staff that would get involved quite quickly.
Yeah.
Well, no, I'm not running away. I would still be engaging. There's no running away from 6 people. You have to engage 1 or 2 at a time.
When I say running away, I'm not talking literally about turning around and sprinting. I'm talking about fighting how Sensei Seth fights.
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
hey.
Not the way that you think Sensei Seth fights, running 5
Yeah,
feet
right.
away.
Thank you.
Yeah, in a circle and just making flybys like you're a fucking RAF pilot. No,
Exactly.
Yeah, I like that way better. I like that way better
Yeah.
than how Mike
You're not
explained
an
it.
A10 gunner.
Yeah.
But like the worst kind of stuff that I can remember from my childhood would be like in the neighborhood. I'd be really naive and kind of get in with the wrong people.
Yeah.
And I remember the once like
People you thought
in
were
the
your
woods.
friends, like you were hanging out with people that you thought were
Yeah.
your friends, and yeah.
Yeah, very, very naive, believing that these cool kids were actually my friend and they actually wanted to spend time with me. And actually, they were just looking for an opportunity to beat the shit out of me. at some
Right, someone
point.
that could bullet. You were just a target.
Yeah, yeah. And I remember like being in the woods and we were making a den. And there's all sorts of crap that we've built up from over the neighborhood. And one of them got the idea of, just turn around, look over there. Is there something over there?
Oh.
And I turned around, only to have a carpet strip broken over my back.
Oh.
Yeah, and it wasn't a pleasant experience because it's not like it just hit and bounced off and it was cool. A piece of it wrapped around over
Yeah,
my
it's like
shoulder.
kind of flexible, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was the wooden carpet strips you have like around the edge of the
Right,
room.
right.
Yeah,
I heard.
so like, a piece of it snapped off and went round my shoulder and cut up all my shoulder, and like the middle piece of it actually stuck to my back.
Oh.
At this point, turning around and there's 3 older kids than me, and one guy with a broken carpet strip in his hand, and the other 2 are picking up stuff out of the pile.
Yeah.
I decided my smartest idea was to peg it. Like, gone. Bye-bye.
Run.
Unfortunately, they knew the woods better than me.
Yeah, and they're bigger, and there's more of them, and
Yeah, so I ended up getting myself completely turned around, came round a bush, got clotheslined by one of them,
Oh.
and they just start kicking me and like trying to pull stuff off me, and one of them pulled my trainer off and launched it off into a load of brambles. So there's no getting that trainer back.
Such a
There's
punk
no
move.
getting that
For
trainer back.
my American friends, that's a sneaker.
Yeah. There's no getting that Air Max back. That's good.
Yeah. Dang.
Bye-bye.
How old were you when this happened?
When this happened, I was probably 8. I had not long started karate. I really didn't have the
Jeez,
background skills to really deal with that.
Yeah.
Well,
Now,
even when
after
you're
you
eight,
after you became very proficient in karate, did anything like that ever happen again?
Yeah, I still like. The thing is, I noticed a pattern. Very few people would ever engage me one-on-one.
Yeah.
It was always groups.
Well, people that do that sort of thing they're cowards.
Yeah. It was always groups.
or they're influenced by somebody who's terrible.
Well, yeah. Sometimes they can be just influenced, and they're kind of naive, and they think it's cool to do this. But for the most part, like once I became proficient in karate and knew how to keep my distance and just throw those straight line attacks down the middle and keep people off me, I got attacked less, but I got jumped more. So they'd ambush me. They'd plan it.
Yeah, that sucks, man.
And it happened quite recently. I'll finish it off with this.
As an adult?
Yeah.
What happened?
I'm 23 now. And I've been living in shared houses for a while. Just kind of slumming it, difficult, like trying to get myself on my feet and do shit with my life. And I walked out of the house the one day. There'd been a lot of stuff going on in this area. I basically postured off 3 guys that booted off the front door of this shared house and tried to come in for me. And then a couple of weeks later, I walked out of the house and 8 teenagers jumped me. And I woke up with a fractured skull.
Oh, man.
So like now I'm in that position where I feel like I'm 8 again. I feel like I have no skills anymore because I've been building myself back up to a comfortable, size and weight, and
yeah, but
trying to get comfortable with myself again.
Yeah, that's going to be the bigger hurdle. Something like that happened to you. Obviously, there's damage to your body, damage to you physically, but those types of injuries and the way that you got them can do. The big battle is with feeling strong and feeling capable and feeling confident in yourself again.
Yeah.
Man. Well,
especially when I don't even remember getting hit. I was told about the situation and I saw the CCTV from a gym across the road.
Well, I'm sorry that happened to you, my friend.
Yeah, man,
but
for real.
Let me tell you, between the neck surgery or the bicep tear, when I had this bicep tear, which it seems like it's not on the level physically of a cracked skull. What the doctor warned me about is that this particular injury, more so than other injuries that are as severe as this one, there's like more psychological effects because you don't feel yourself, which is the scariest, hardest part. Is you don't feel like I didn't feel like a man, like I didn't feel like myself, like, and I didn't feel like I ever would again. Like you get you get all the testosterone or all the, I don't know, the chutzpah or whatever just sucked right out of you. And you just don't feel like you're going to be yourself again. But I promise you, you can.
Yeah.
I wouldn't give a shit if you lost all your arms and your legs and half your brain. You could work your ass off and feel yourself again. I've had the opportunity since I've done this to talk with guys who have had severe injuries, severe brain injuries even. Guys with cerebral palsy, guys with, guys who've had like traumatic brain injuries who have worked their ass off to get either back in the gym or back under the weights or back to feeling like a big tough dude or back to being able to drive again, so I promise you, if you work your ass off, you can be as strong and capable as you ever were, and actually stronger. Every time that I've ever come back from an injury and really put my mind to it, if I slacked off and I just sat around and pitied myself, I didn't. But anytime I really put my mind to it, I came back stronger than before the injury. Now, a cracked skull is no joke. That's going to heal. Mm-hmm. What I'm talking about is your psyche, your feelings about yourself. That's the battle. But I promise you can feel better about yourself and feel stronger and more capable than you ever have before.
Thank you, Mike. I appreciate that.
No, thank you for calling and thank you for sharing that, man. And hit me up if you need anything. Get on Instagram and DM me at IcyMikeP, man.
Okay.
All right, thank you, brother.
Guys.
Good luck. Man, oh man.
Oof.
That sucks, dude.
Yeah, man, that's tough.
That's the thing. I've never been. I don't like hurting people. I don't like injuring people.
Yeah.
I never minded when I was doing violence professionally. I never minded having to do my job, but I never like was like, I want to hurt this person forever. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
I didn't mind throwing a dude an ass kicking that had an ass kicking coming. I didn't relish it. It didn't make me feel good. And actually, every time that I've ever really, really hurt anybody, I felt sick afterwards. So like,
Yeah.
but when I hear about that, like those dudes that jumped him, like I want to go. I want to go beat them up. I want to go
Yeah.
beat them up.
Yeah. Yeah, there's not a lot that makes me feel like offensive like aggression.
Mm-hmm.
That does.
Yeah, people jumping each other and hurt and doing part like I don't even get mad, dude. I saw this boy slap Maddox across the face one time, swelled his eyes shut. and I was totally cool with it. He had it coming, but you know, that'll heal.
Yeah.
When someone does something that's like permanent injury to each other, like I don't like that. I don't like anybody doing any of that to each other. What is that? Does that make me soft, or does that just make me compassionate?
No, I think that makes you a human.
Oh,
I think
yuck.
the opposite is where it's an issue. Yeah.
Yeah. So do y'all want to hear when Maddox got his ass slapped shut?
I do. I know I do.
Maddox was maybe 7 years old, 6 or 7 years old. We went to the Children's Museum, and at the Children's Museum here, they have this pirate ship play area right in the middle of it, and they have little vests and chests full of gold coins and eye patches and hats and parrots and stuff, and they have foam swords, all right?
Mm-hmm.
They're not good. They're really flimsy foam swords. Super hard to hurt people with them, you know?
Yeah, hard to hurt.
Yeah. Cha-ching. Well, all the kids are playing and having a grand old time, chasing each other around with swords, playing with the coins, dressing up like pirates. But it's sort of this like rotating thing because it's just one area of the Children's Museum. And I say Children's Museum, if you're not familiar with the Children's Museum here, it's more like a play area, but with a kind of educational, like there's one area with
science every now and then.
Yes, and one area with like giant blocks that you can build giant like block construction things with, and you know, a giant checkerboard or something like that. You know, you move the pieces with your whole body.
Yeah.
But Cam for maybe he meant roll titles, but that's a funny typo. Roll those too. But but Maddox was, so it's a rotating cast. Like, so you get to the pirate ship and you're playing with kids who've been there for a little while, and then some other kids come and they play. You know, it's sort of like a rotating group of kids in there. Well, Maddox had been in there for a little while, and he was 6 or 7, and he wasn't always like the manly little man that he is now. You know, he plays with big boys now. He spars with adults and listens to adults talk, and he works and makes money. Yeah. He was a little bit softer when he was younger. You know what I mean? I maybe he was 6 or 7, so I guess I can forgive it. You know, but he was playing with he was running around playing with swords, and there was kids playing with swords, and it's sort of like, Seth, even if I picked up some foam swords and you picked up foam swords, I wouldn't immediately launch into my full-scale attack. I'd kind of see if you wanted to play. You know, I'd like poke at you, right. I'd kick the sword towards you and see if you picked it up, and then you kind of flirt a little bit. You know, you flirt first. You don't go in, you know, for the thing right away. You flirt first.
Yeah, right.
Well, Maddox is chasing some people around with swords. They're chasing him around. They're all dressed like pirates. And this kid walks in, and he's this big O'Doyle Rules looking kid, like a big like.
O'Doyle Rules.
Yeah, he looks like a member of that family.
Oh yeah.
And he sees the pirate ship and he starts walking towards it, and he steps foot onto the deck of the pirate ship. Maddox jumps out from behind a little thing on it and thrusts the sword towards the kid's face. You know what I mean? The kid had been in the room 25 seconds. You know, he just had walked into the room and walked on the pirate ship. Didn't get his bearings, didn't know who was who, didn't know what was what. Maddox jumped out from behind a thing and was like, "Arr!" You know, and shoved the sword in his face. The kid, like, snatched the sword and open hand slapped Maddox so hard it spun him around. And his eye was shut before he was even done spinning around.
He said, "Get that children's play out of here."
And he looked at me. Maddox looked at me like, for sure you're gonna do something. And I was like, blank, deadpan. And he walked over to me like, he's like, and the kid's kind of looking like the kid. I think he kind of thought maybe he'd be in trouble, but then he kind of moved on. But the other parents were looking at me like to see what I was gonna do. And he was like, keep it. And I was like, nope. And he was like, what? And I said, do you know that boy? And he was like, no. I was like, does that boy know you? No. Did you ask that boy if he wanted to play? No. Did that boy even have a sword? No. And I'm like, damn, dude.
Had it coming, kid.
Hate it for you. That's how life works. You jump out from behind something and thrust, a foreign object into a stranger, and he's not ready and doesn't know who you are. You got off light. You know what I mean? You got off light. He slapped you across the face. And the other parents, I think, looked at me like, aren't you going to, maybe go find this kid's parents and talk to them? I was like, nah, man. I was like, we'll take that L.
Yeah, that's our L.
I promise you this. He's never done anything quite like that again. I mean, he's made mistakes, but he has not made that mistake again.
It's like weird to figure out what people's personal boundaries are with their space. When I was in college, I was with one of my good friends, and it was after workouts, and this kid and I he had his head up against that. We were all in this really small elevator, 8 really big dudes. We were all up in this elevator, and this guy had his temple pressed up against the elevator, the side of the door.
Did somebody bang it?
Well, it was me. Oh. I looked at him and I was like, there's a hand's amount of space between his cheek and the wall. So I put my hand in between it and I went back and forth. Pop, 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 pop.
Oh, like blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, exactly. Nothing hard.
Right. It was not enough room to move fast enough to hit him hard, but you had your hand on a man's face.
Yeah, exactly.
You shouldn't do that.
A guy who I'd known for less than a year.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, some people are
competing.
Crazy about you touching their face.
Yeah, we were also competing for a position. We were in a competitive environment. Testosterone was always high. Anyway, he up and just slaps me in the face. Hard. I was like, oh. And I thought about it for a second. I was like, dang, I don't know if I blame you for that.
Yeah, you felt like he did something wrong because he was mad when he did his one. You know?
Yeah, right. And I was like, And I remember at that moment being like, well, we don't need to fight in this elevator.
That would suck.
And then 10 minutes later, I was like, wow, that guy just made me look like a small girl, but that was my fault. I deserved that one.
Yeah. Some people, people don't like getting their face touched. That's sort of a boundary. I think it's programmed into us because that's sort of it's where all your important stuff is. You know what I mean? Your eyes.
Yeah.
I think our eyes are so important to us that's why people turn their face away. You know?
Yeah, right. All the senses are in there. That's all of our stuff that helps us recognize things.
Right. If there was a storm coming, we would put away all our instruments. You know what I mean? All our things that we can't ruin. We can't let the storm get these because we'll need these to do things.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man. But yeah, you put your hand on that dude's face, dude. You're lucky he didn't Captain America your ass in that elevator.
In that tiny little elevator.
Full of dudes.
We definitely broke the weight limit for that elevator, so it's a good thing nothing popped off.
Yeah.
We would have dropped down the one floor that we were on.
So, let's see if we can get another caller. We've got this guy's tried to call in a few times. Skyway. Skyway looks like he plays guitar. He's got sideburns, and in his profile picture, he's staring off into the distance for a little bit.
That's 6 years ago. I was pretty young at that age.
He's looking to the Skyway.
Yeah. Do you play guitar, Skyway?
Well, I actually do a little bit Spanish guitar.
I'm really good at this.
Just wanted to say really quick. I really like what you do, what you guys do. I'm really excited of being here in the podcast for a little bit. Really like your style, Mike, and I have been following you recently, Sensei Seth.
Sweet.
I actually let a comment in one of your videos. You both answered me recently, but I'm pretty excited of being here.
That's cool. Have you ever had your ass kicked?
Well, I haven't halved my ass kicked like a brutal beating, like this guy that came in last, pretty sad story, or even you, Mike, who got like beaten over something or something. I remember the story, but like not like that. But I have a couple stories though.
Like the YouTube video that he posted? Is that what you're...
No. Like I'm talking about holy shit.
Don't listen to
I'm
him.
more nervous than I expected. Like this is like
okay,
what
gotcha,
you
gotcha.
guys were talking about being nervous when a fight starts.
Yeah.
I didn't know I would get this nervous when I was in the podcast.
Yeah. So tell me about the worst
So-
time, the worst that's ever been.
Okay, so like the worst was actually I didn't fight back. I was like in my lockers,
Mhm.
looking for stuff, and it was
Hey,
like
where are
my
you
first
from?
day or
Are you Belgian?
No, I'm from Spain. I'm actually forcing this accent a bit. Do you guys want me to talk with my Spanish accent? I'm fine with that.
No, it's not. You had a little Jean-Claude Van Damme thing going on there for a second, but
Yeah, I'm European. I'm definitely European. You can tell, right?
yeah.
So this guy, like, I was 13 years old. Here we have a different educational system, so it's like I'm not even gonna bother try to guess which grade
Right,
is
you're
it. Like
13.
this is first of ESO. Yeah, I was 13, and I was a small kid. I didn't have I didn't here we call it estirón. It's like when you grow up like
Right.
a lot suddenly
Puberty.
and you're a teenager.
We call puberty.
Yeah, like puberty. Yeah, I didn't pass puberty yet, and some boys had. Like this was already high school, and I was in the lockers.
Yeah, dude, I didn't
And-
finish
and
puberty
this
until I
guy-
was like 22. So
I'm 21 now. That's funny. I'm 21 now. So I was in the lockers, and this guy just he was laughing about me, maybe because I was small, maybe because I looked silly, whatever. And yeah, he was and he insulted me. I think he started like pushing me a bit. And I went up to him and I said, "Hey, are you a fucking idiot or what?"
Yeah.
Like that. I insulted him really hard
yeah,
because I didn't like being pushed around. And the guy like put on a really bad face, pushed me with both hands, and my ass was in the ground immediately, right?
yeah,
And yeah, I don't know why. I felt like I don't remember at the moment, but I didn't want to start a fight, so I just like picked up my stuff and went away. But I felt so bad after that. I felt like I had been like I couldn't do anything, but because the guy was so much bigger,
yeah.
right? So I felt like holy shit, he
You froze
pushed
up.
me. I just
when it got
insulted
real, you
him.
froze up.
Yeah, and I felt like it was such an injustice because like this guy was pushing me. This guy was physically abusing me. I just insulted him.
Yeah,
He should have been like, "Hey, I'm sorry, I pushed you," but he pushed me harder, and I couldn't do anything about it. Isn't that crazy?
that's normal. That's normal. But notice you went and got in his face, thinking that you were gonna rise to the occasion, and then when faced with the truth of the
Yeah.
matter, you froze up.
I sunk to my training, which
That's-
was
that's
none at the
exactly
moment.
Yeah. Hey, a lot of people
So-
are commenting, and I agree that your accent is amazing. Your accent is super
Hey,
cool.
thank you,
Where do you live
thank
now?
you very much. I live in Spain, in Barcelona.
Well, you sound normal to them. If you lived in America with that accent, everyone would want to be your friend.
Oh my God, really? I'm
Yeah.
gonna move to America soon. Then I want lots of friends.
Everyone,
No,
everyone would want to be your friend.
Thank you. Oh my God, I never realized. So, yeah,
Well, thank you for
Yeah,
calling
just don't
me.
call them stupid idiots. And
Yeah.
yeah. Well, I'm like really quickly finish the story. I
Yeah.
went to my house crying, and I told my father. Like I tell my parents everything. We have a really good relationship, and he just told me, okay, so I'm gonna go there and talk to this guy because he's bigger than you. So my father went to the school actually like with me, and he basically talked to this guy, said, hey, don't touch my kid again.
Yeah.
And even though I felt a little embarrassed, I think he made a good choice because I couldn't fight this kid.
Yeah.
He
You
would
could
have
fight.
gotten bigger. So my father took a swing for me that like they didn't fight, but like my father went and actually did something about it,
Right.
and I always feel grateful for him about it because I think it was a better solution in the end.
Maybe. Hey, how old are you now?
I'm 21. Like
So you-
I got mocked a bit for that during
Yeah.
my years, but no one actually tried to fight me again. Also, the next year I kind of grew up really quickly and I became
helps.
a pretty big guy. I also was training in judo already, so and I had other stories with other guys, which was not like a fight, but like like playful fighting, but people knew I could defend myself. So
Right.
nobody actually physically
isn't it
abused me
sort of
anymore.
strange? And this is there's a couple common threads here with all of us guys that have had these types of experiences. Being smaller is pretty common. Um, kind of starting it seems pretty common. When you think that you're being like picked on or whatever, like kind of overreacting and starting the whole thing off really, when you could have just kept walking. That was how my stories were. It's how a lot of these stories were. And then it's just sort of strange. And then once we get some training and we build some confidence and we feel good about ourselves, a lot of times we just don't, for whatever reason, we don't have these problems anymore.
Yeah.
They just go away.
Yeah, I actually completely agree with you. I saw that comment on one of your videos, and I was like, yeah, holy shit, the same thing happened to me. I became a bit bigger, I started training, and suddenly I didn't get into trouble. Maybe it's what you say, like confidence gets the problems away for you, because when people see you are confident, they don't try to mess with you. They only try to mess with the weaker ones.
That's right.
Because they're like that.
Bullies are like that. Thank you for calling in. It was good talking to you.
Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure.
All right, man. Later. Man, yeah, I didn't finish puberty till I was like 22 years old. I was not like a man until it was late.
I stopped like growing height-wise, I think, in the 7th or 8th grade.
Oh, dude, I was still growing, and even after that, I think I grew an inch or two when I was like 24.
I was pretty bummed. A lot of my family is like...
Oh, darn, you're only 6'1"?
Well, my whole life was like, okay, football, right? And then I hit 8th grade, I was like, dude, I want track. And then it just like stopped.
Yeah. It must be terrible to only be 6 feet tall.
It was really hard.
And that sucks. It must be terrible to be a 6 foot tall teenager and be 6 feet tall. Anyway.
You forgot smart.
let's bring on let's see. Let's bring on, I think this guy's tried a couple times. Let's bring on Guido.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, what's up, man?
What's up, man? Hey,
How do you
finally
say your
got one
screen
of
name?
these lives. Guido Giro.
Guido Gio.
Yeah, it's because I'm from Brazil, but my name's not Brazilian. I'm called Guidian.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Interesting.
So I kind of do it like this.
You ever had your ass kicked?
Yeah, man. Probably more than most people would like to get their asses kicked.
I don't think anyone would like to get their asses kicked. Well, that's not true. Some people go to street beefs and it looks like they
No,
get
I
their
know a
ass
couple
kicked.
people who like to get their asses kicked.
Yeah, I do. I take that back. That does exist.
Yeah.
So what happened,
I
man?
mean-
Tell me about one of the worst ones.
The worst one, I guess the worst one would be kind of my sort of my black belt exam.
Oh, no.
I got a more recent story that's pretty cool.
I'm not talking about in the gym or the dojo or rolling around in your pajamas on your cushy
Oh yeah,
mats.
I got a recent story that's pretty cool.
There we go.
So I'm a teacher. I got my own gym.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I had my own gym. I don't have it anymore.
Yeah.
Because the pandemic, I had to close.
Oh, like permanently closed?
Which sucks. Yeah, permanently. But I found another big gym with multiple martial arts, and they took me in my class too. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah. That's great.
So I can keep on teaching. People gonna laugh at me probably, but I'm a Wing Chun teacher.
So you're Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, you said?
No. I'm sort of equivalent of a Wing Chun black belt.
Oh, okay.
I know every Wing Chun organization has their own kind of way to say it.
That's what you're saying when you said black belt test. You were talking about Wing and Wing.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. So
so I was trying to teach at a new gym, right? Where a friend of mine.
How you Brazilian? You're not Brazilian though, right?
I am. I'm.
You are Brazilian, but your name is not Brazilian.
Yeah. My mom got my name from a book from King Arthur. It's called. I'm not sure what it's called in English actually right now.
What? How you Brazilian and become a Wing Chun black belt?
Well,
that'd be like.
What story do you want to hear?
That'd be like if you were if you were Korean and you made bomb ass Italian food.
Like it just. Well, it's kind of funny actually.
Go ahead.
I mean, yeah, I used to do karate. I had a real traditional Japanese karate teacher when I was a kid, right, where I studied.
Right.
And I did karate up until when I was like 13. I did 6 years of karate with him, actually. It was Goju-ryu style. I
Mm-hmm.
got to purple belt.
So how'd you end up
After
getting your
that,
ass kicked? If you done karate and kung fu and everything else, how'd you get your ass kicked? Oh wait, I guess that makes sense.
I've done
But
a
tell us
little.
how you got your ass
I've
kicked.
done a little bit of everything. I've done a little bit of everything actually. I found out about Wing Chun through a friend, and I kind of got hooked actually. But well, I was trying to teach at a new gym that a friend of mine had some vacancy for a new teacher, right? And I was like, oh, dude, this is way closer to my house. If I can get a class there, it'd be awesome. And there was this judo guy there. He was kind of skeptical.
Yeah.
And he was just watching me teach a couple new students,
Mm-hmm.
like first batch students. And then after the class, he was like, "Dude, I wanna test you. I wanna challenge you." And I was like, "Ah, shit, I don't like to do those, right? Because I don't know you. People usually get hurt when something like that happens." I was like,
there's no good.
Yeah,
there's no great outcome.
Yeah. But he was really nice about it, and he had a real like easygoing vibe. So I said, I'll tell you what, let me show you some stuff with my student right here, see if you like it, and maybe you can show me some stuff like in the class.
How
He was
how a good exchange between martial artists should be.
Yeah, let's do a cool information exchange, right?
Yeah.
And he was down for that, and I was like, yeah, that'd be cool. But I mean, being a teacher for martial arts in Brazil, it used to suck a lot because people used to just come in and challenge me.
Yeah, everyone wanted to Gracie challenge everybody.
Like, yeah, I got challenged by a couple Gracie practitioners. It sucked a couple times, but I always got out of it like with no problem, right? I always talked myself out of when it kind of started getting bad. Somebody wanted to hurt me. I was like, no, let's end this here.
Yeah,
I don't want to get hurt. I don't want to hurt anybody. So this guy, he kind of caught me by surprise, right? Because I was showing to him a kick defense.
Mm-hmm.
Where like pick up somebody's kick, just like in Chinese boxing, then you just twist the leg and pull it so they fall on the ground. I was showing it to him slowly. You know when you're like showing something slowly to somebody and then like they just want to be smarter than you and pull a quick one?
Yes.
And they just try to hit you way faster than what you're doing. So I was like, yeah, when you pull somebody down like this, you can kick their chest, and I moved my leg in closer. I didn't kick him or anything. He just grabbed my leg and went for full on heel hook, heel twist. I don't know how to call that.
Like he was on the ground.
Yeah, he was on the ground because I was catching his leg, so I could show him. I only had one student with me, and he was kind of a beginner, so I didn't want to put them together. That would suck even more.
Yeah.
But he just pulled me and he tried to get me on a heel hook, and he hurt like fuck. He was really good.
Yeah.
Like black belt judo or something.
Yeah.
And I was like, shit, I gotta hit this guy or I'm gonna get hurt, right?
Yeah.
So I twisted over and I fell down right beside him.
Mm-hmm.
He tried to get up while holding my heel, and I just fucking kicked him in the mouth. I had shoes on.
Yeah.
We were not on the mat.
Yeah.
I just kicked him in the mouth really hard. I was holding back because I didn't want to fucking break his teeth.
Right, you just letting him know to not
but
do it. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, dude, let go. Fucking let go my foot. This is not what I was in for, right?
Right.
And he didn't get pissed at all. I was like, shit, dude, like just train fucking hard all the time and you try to break people's legs just for fun.
Yeah.
And he was like, no, yeah, where I train, people just go hard at it. I was like, yeah, don't do that again, man.
Yeah.
I mean,
well,
the other, this right here because his mouth was bleeding a lot.
The other big problem with guys that go so in jiu-jitsu, sometimes first of all, or judo, any grappling art, they can go harder than other martial arts can go, which is part of the reason.
They're more used to it. It's part of the reason why it's good, right?
Right, that's why their martial art is so good, because they are capable of executing at a higher intensity. But that exists in all things. Like in striking, me and my coach can go harder on each other than you can go with people that you don't really know safely, because you know what the other person's going to do. Leg locks in particular, ankle locks, foot locks, leg locks. If you don't know anything about defending them, like a choke, if you know nothing about jiu-jitsu and someone starts trying to choke you, you have built-in...
Oh yeah, that sucks a lot.
But
I'm very lucky that where I do Wing Chun, my master's there from Germany, so it's European Wing Chun, right? I'm very lucky that we do ground fighting. So we learn jiu-jitsu, we learn
But the basic ones,
shit.
The basic upper body grappling, choking, arm locks, all that, even if you don't know the defense, your body will naturally do certain things to try to mitigate it. Like tucking your chin to prevent a choke is an instinctive thing. The problem with leg locks and foot locks and ankle locks is if you don't know that, like if you've not had formal training in the defenses for them, you will do nothing correctly to defend it. Like you won't get lucky.
You'll make it worse
right
even. I mean,
usually,
if you move wrong, you'll just make it worse.
Yeah.
And that's instant too, because in the heel, just a tiny little bit of movement can fuck your heel up.
If you go to put a guy that doesn't know anything in an arm bar and you're trying to straighten his arm out, he gets that ideally he would not straighten his arm out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you go to strangle
me, to the side or something. Yeah.
If you go to strangle me, I will try to pull your hands away from my neck, even if I don't know the right defense. But that heel hooks and toe holds and stuff, I don't.
Yeah, those are hard. If you haven't specifically trained for them, you could be.
So he can go hard.
Well, luckily, I trained.
He could go hard with people that have trained the defenses because they're going to defend.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was lucky. I knew what to do.
It also
that I
like
twisted
a power move, to be
to
fair.
the wrong side.
Yeah, he was trying to flex on you, homie.
Yeah, he was definitely trying.
Yeah, he was probably trying to
you for sure.
Show me he was hierarchically higher than me at the gym because he was a teacher too, but he only taught kids there.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
Yeah, but he did that, and I was like, yeah, do you want to kind of do something else? Because his mouth started to bleed a lot, and he got some gauze and he put it in his mouth. This guy was fucking hardcore, man. He put some gauze in his mouth and he was like, hey, let's try some other shit. And I was like, dude, I'm not sure if I'm comfortable with this, but yeah, let's go. We were talking a lot. We weren't showing so much stuff. We were kind of like talking from that point onward.
After you kicked him in the mouth?
And then after I kicked him in the mouth, kind of equalized things, and he was like, okay, this guy's not bullshitting.
You're not a pushover.
Yeah. I'm not just gonna let him do whatever he wants.
Yeah.
So we were talking, and he was cool. And I was like, almost trying to push him away verbally, so I could just go home. I don't want to escalate this any further.
Yeah. That training session should have ended right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we were talking, and he got into a cool argument about what we did. Right? I was like, oh, dude, I kicked you. I don't know if you were prepared for that, and you got me when I wasn't thinking about it too either. And we started talking, right?
Mm-hmm.
Suddenly he kind of came to try and do a double leg on me. Suddenly, we were just talking.
He sucker doubled you?
Yeah, he just
sucker double.
Yeah, sucker double leg. And we were on hard ground, right? I mean, in my gym, we used to never use pads. We used to just train on the hard ground because we train for self-defense, and we're self-defense Wing Chun. People are gonna mock me.
Yeah, that's a problem. But it sounds like you already know why that's a problem. But go ahead, continue.
Yeah.
You know what you've done.
Because of stereotypes, man. Yeah, I know what I've done. I've been a bad practitioner. But I mean, there's Wing Chun, there's Wing Chun, right?
Yeah. So what happened, dude?
But
Get to the end of the
he
story.
took it to the fucking ground. I slammed my fucking back real hard.
He slammed your
didn't
back
smack
real
my head.
hard.
Yeah, he slammed my back real hard. That's true. And it sucked a lot. It took the air out of me. And then he started trying to do a kimura on the ground. But I laid on top of my arm on reflex, and he couldn't move my arm. But he was really insisting on it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I punched him in the kidney real hard because he was like side facing me on top of me on the mount. I punched his kidney real hard, and he didn't like that. And he started ground and pounding my face.
Oi.
And he got me like 2 or 3 times before I reacted. Because since he's a judo guy, I wasn't expecting him to just turn up and start punching my face against the ground.
Or even have double.
Right, you weren't expecting any of it.
Surprise fucking double leg, yeah. I put my hands over my head and I just kept punching him in the kidney.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, like after 3 or 4 punches, he got me a couple times, like 3 or 4 times.
Mm-hmm.
He went to guard his face and started to move the mount, so he was in a better position, and I managed to turn him off me. And this fucker, I don't know how he did it, man. He was really good at jiu-jitsu. This guy was really fucking hardcore. It's really rare that I get challenged by somebody that's that good.
Well, typically people that are secure don't feel the need to do that. Like if they are good.
Yeah, man. I'm usually not expecting somebody that has that attitude to be somebody that good.
Yeah. So how did it end?
And when I was trying to turn him off me, I actually got him off the guard, And then he pulled another fucking quick one on me. He started getting up like, "Oh, dude, that's okay. I'm done. You hurt me. That's fine."
I'm sorry, but at this point, there's no more quick ones.
Yeah. You kind of are. You should be
He
expecting.
kind of started getting up. He kind of started getting up, and then he kind of kicked my leg, so I turned a little, and he kind of snuck in behind me and caught me with a rear naked.
Oh no! Did he put you out?
And he was gonna tap me out. He almost put me out. I mean, I when he got me in the rear naked, I managed to grab his balls and squeeze real hard. And that made him kind of let go a little bit, so I could put my fingers in between my neck and his arms. And he was like, "I'll fuck you up, man. I'm gonna fuck you up.
Wow!
You gotta let go of my balls.
Yeah.
you gotta let go of my balls, man. I'll fucking choke you out." And
Yeah,
I was like, "All right, you let go, I'll let go."
Yeah, that's a crazy story, man.
He let go, and then he got up and he got far away from me.
Yeah.
And I got up and I was like, "I'm just gonna go home, man. Just stay there. I'm gonna go home. I'm not coming back."
That's a good
here.
idea. Probably a good idea to stop trying to
And
hang out with that dude.
and he said, "Yeah," and he said, "I'll let you out, man. I'll take you to the exit. I don't know. So you stay right there. I'm going to get the fuck out."
Well, all right, man. I appreciate you calling in, man.
Yeah, thanks, man. It was cool to share a story. It's pretty hard to get a live call from you here in Brazil with the time zones being all weird.
I thought we were in the
But
same
I'll try
time
to
zone.
call in more times.
All right, man.
I really like your channel.
All right, thanks
Thanks
bro.
a lot.
Later. Wow.
Yeah.
Dojo Storm gone wrong. Actually, Dojo Storm gone right. I guess that's what they think is going to happen all the time.
Yeah, I guess he kind of won. I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, is there like a winning there? I don't know. That's a real interesting situation.
Nobody wins. Nobody wins.
wins that one.
Jeff Meeker says monkey steals the peach. Yep, that's exactly. Monkey steals the peach. Let's bring in one more caller.
We need to get Shane over in the chat to hop in here.
Shane who?
Old Mr. Fight Tips.
Oh, Shane Faison was in the chat.
Yeah, he's in YouTube. He might still be.
Oh yeah. No, he's got too much important stuff going on. There's no way he'll call in over here. Maybe I should I do like you know how I was doing the live ones where I did like the interview, like I did one with Dan, I did one with Joe.
Yeah.
I should do one with
definitely
Shane.
Should.
I would want to do one with
Shane to hop in
Shane,
here.
but I don't know if he's down with the imperfect format where it just peel back that shiny, color corrected
Can
layer
Shane just go?
and
Can he
just like
go?
let's see the real Shane. You know
Shane,
what I mean?
What you do is you download Podbean, you search in Icy Mike Imperfect, you hop into the chat, and then you hit the green armchair up top.
I want to do give him the real treatment. I want to do with him what I did with Fight Perfect, what I did with Dan. I want to give him like the whole thing. I haven't done it in a while.
Yeah, you got to give him the kit and caboodle for sure.
Yeah, I don't think it, but
he
I
did
like
say,
him.
"Let's go."
I like him. It's super hard to stay friends with somebody after you do that.
Oh no, I didn't mean the Icy Mike kit and caboodle that you give me. You got to be nicer than that.
I have to be nicer to him than I was to you.
Yeah,
I was super nice to you.
sure.
I went easier on you than I did on Joe or Dan.
Well, I mean, isn't Mike such an instigator? Yeah, I mean, to be fair, like it's hard to be. I don't know. I don't necessarily ask for it as much.
Yeah. In a roundabout way, you're trying to say, I mean, is there that much stuff to make fun of me for?
Or also, like, how much have I deserved at this point?
Yeah, let's bring in, this guy's tried to call in a few times. I'm kind of worried about who I think it might be, but this is Austin Space, which is a clever name.
Hello.
Austin,
Good to be on a podcast.
how are you?
Hello. Doing all right.
Have you ever had your ass kicked?
I have.
What happened?
I was 16 years old, and I was living in the hood, and I was headed to work after I had bought a Hawaiian punch from some little corner store.
That's an important detail. Glad we got that right.
It was the new one. Sorry, go ahead.
So as I was walking down the street, this old beat-up car pulls up next to me, and there's two people on the passenger side, and they said, "Give us your money." I said I didn't have any. and they kept saying, "Give us your money." I said, "Man, I don't have any." And I started walking off. The car backed up to where I was walking. The two of them on the passenger side hopped out, came at me, said, "Give us your money." And I was 16 and feeling ballsy. So I said, "Go fuck yourself."
Not smart.
Not the best thing, but, and this was before I had done any martial arts, knew anything about trying to fight. And one of them came in and got me, and I was dazed. And
How'd he get you? What do you mean got you? With what? What did he do?
I mean, they just started punching me in the head.
Oh, man.
And I just turtled up. I covered my head with my arms, kind of.
Yep.
And I spread out my feet and kind of had a wide stance, and I was able to stay standing while they were hitting me.
Oh.
And it was also, they were like hitting me just like from the side, so it wasn't actually knocking me down.
Yeah.
And then I managed to start swinging back.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, this was
I bet
before,
I know exactly. I can picture it. You've done such a good job painting the picture. I guarantee you were swinging with your arms straight, looking at the ground, weren't you?
It was probably something like that. It was
Trying to move
like
bodies.
some crazy Captain Kirk
Windmill punching,
I was
eyes on the floor the whole time.
And
He's trying to generate some energy.
they jumped back.
Yeah.
And I would go at one and I would swing, and he would just jump back, but it wouldn't connect. And so I was basically just swinging wildly.
They felt sorry for you.
They couldn't close in on me, and then they hopped in the car, took off. I started walking back down the street, and then that's when my head started pounding like a motherfucker.
Yeah, it probably hurt. Getting punched in the head sucks.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, this was over the Hawaiian Punch?
No, they wanted some money, and he'd already spent all his money on his Hawaiian Punch.
Oh.
Well, no, I had money. I just
so you lied. You lied to those people.
That's what you get for lying. You can't lie.
Don't lie, folks. That's the lesson that we're going to learn today. Don't lie. Oh, man. Oh, man. That's crazy. How old were you when this happened?
I was 16.
That's right. You told me that. You were a little punk 16-year-old drinking Hawaiian Punch. But, dude, wasn't it great with simpler times when people tried to rob you with no weapon? They just tried to rob you. Give me your money. And you just could say yes or no and then fight about it. Simpler times. Man, that's great. So what happened to the Hawaiian Punch? Did you spill it or what?
Yeah, that's...
No, I dropped it on the ground, and then I was able to pick it up afterwards because they got in the car and they took off.
Did you have the bottle, like, closed, or was it a can? Or
Yeah, it was a plastic bottle. It was closed. So the Hawaiian Punch itself was saved.
Oh, that's good.
Well, that's good.
That's what we're all worried about that one.
Hey, and if that Hawaiian Punch is cold, right on the head.
Yeah.
On the walk home.
How about a nice Hawaiian Punch? Sure.
That's what you should have done, is you should have yelled Hawaiian Punch upon throwing.
Oh, my God.
You never know. It might have been a little stronger.
All right, Austin. Well, I really appreciate you calling. I got to let you go.
It's good to be on the podcast.
We got to see if this is even real. Fight Tips. You are live.
Yo.
Is this the real Fight Tips or an imposter?
Imposter Sean Fagan?
No, that's you. I can hear that shit-eating Philly accent that's been out in L.A. for too long.
That's a Wawa accent.
Yeah. Let's go break bottles behind Wawa.
How long have you been doing this podcast, Mike?
A couple months now. Every Wednesday night we do a podcast on the Podbean app, and then I figured out you can stream it. Look, hey, Shane. No. He's like, look what he's doing. He's
like,
already
"This
trying
is
to figure out.
real
He's like, how you doing this? Let me see how this works. Let me see what this be like.
I'm trying to tune in. I'm
No,
a fan.
next week on Fight Tips, he's gonna be taking callers.
Nah, man.
I'm
I'm tired.
Shane, it's so good to hear from you, bro. But what we're talking about is, have you ever had your ass kicked?
Like in a street fight, in a sparring match, either.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Well,
Yeah,
we've been opting for like street fight, self defense scenarios,
Yeah,
and because we found some
non-controlled
common
violence.
threads. I know Shane's probably never had his ass kicked because he's like, he's Shane. He's
exactly.
super.
I mean, in a street fight, I honestly no. Like I've lost, or like I haven't won fights, but I've never like.
You never taken a
broken
solid
anything.
beating?
No, but like sparring Sanchai, he completely whooped my ass for like 10 minutes straight.
Shane, how did you get? Because you fought, you got into quite a few scraps. You grew up kind of scrappy. I do know that about you.
You know what? I got a video coming out tomorrow, kind of talking about this, how I got started. But I give you a shout out in it.
Really?
Yeah.
Little old me?
Yeah.
Dang, Mike, you made it.
The buckler video.
Oh,
I
did
enjoyed
you?
that one a lot.
Yeah, I saw that you commented. I was like, look at Shane slumming it down here in the bottom of YouTube. Look at it.
Oh,
Shane, man, dude, because you're one of the few guys that, like, when you talk about like growing up, and now you grew up in Philly, right?
Yeah, Northeast.
Yeah, so Philly is like a lot of people like to talk about how where they grew up is like rough. You know what I mean? But Philly's actually is kind of a rough place. Like when people say I grew up in New York, I'm like, that can mean a lot of things. You know, that doesn't necessarily mean that you were like fighting for your life all the time. But where you grew up was pretty rough, right?
It has that vibe of like you have to be a fighter from there. You know, you got Rocky and you got all the boxing clubs out of there. So
it's like Boston. Like you don't hear about wusses from Boston.
Exactly. Yeah, so it was like, I don't know, it was like a status thing there. It was like if you were in a lot of fights, if you were a tough dude, then you were cool, you were respected out there. And yeah, like I started fighting at a really young age. And, I had two brothers. I was the middle. Like we fought a lot and then fought in school. And there was a lot of neighborhood brawls. There was like, it was Somerton versus Parkwood and Bustleton. And, like everyone had the pride of the neighborhood, and there was often it was rarely a one-on-one fight. It was always like pool sticks, and people would bring weapons, and it was like hooligan style fights.
It was like an '80s movie. It was like a Double Dragon game.
Well, and I think like everyone at that age thought it was cool that they were like living that life.
Yeah.
So they were proud of it and caused it more to happen. And
what do you want to do this weekend? I'll run up the steps and we'll fight people.
Let's go fight. Let's go fight people. That's actually not there. There are whole towns and whole communities that's what people do. They just go fight. It's generally when guys can't find any girls, when you can't get laid, let's go get in a fight.
Yes, yeah, 100% correct. But it was boredom, and then eventually a lot of my friends got into drugs. It was instead of fighting, it was that, and it was at that point that I was like, all right, I need to do something different, and that's when I started getting into like the sports side, the competitive side of fighting.
Yeah.
So like very extreme personalities, it seems like. Like if it's not one extreme adrenaline, it's another.
Yeah, man, it's the lifestyle out there. It's the influence. It's just how people are raised.
It's like the opposite of LA.
Yeah, it's paradise out here. It's easy living.
How are things in LA like really like are businesses open or is anyone doing anything?
Restaurants are doing outdoor seating. Gyms are still closed. They opened up for about a week and then they closed again.
Dang.
Anything that's like contact, like barbershops, nail salons, they're all closed down still.
Wow. Barbershops and nail salons.
Yeah, I think some of them started doing outdoor stuff, but
so I imagine that fitness and health and beauty are big industries in LA, Yeah. That's tough, man. That's tough.
And what month are we on now? Like the 7th?
Yeah.
7th month of this,
Yeah, it's been a while.
No gym can survive that. I don't care how good you're doing, except the Gracies.
Our camp training did okay.
Jeez. Well, I don't mean to.
Yeah, no, actually, to tell you the truth, no, we couldn't have. If I didn't do YouTube, my studio wouldn't have made it. There's no way.
Yeah.
I mean, I maybe could have asked Kristen to pay it with her salary, to pay the bills with her salary, but not on its own. There's one place here that didn't make it. One like long running martial arts place. They did kickboxing and Brazilian jiu-jitsu. And a couple other places I think came close, but we weren't closed down. We were able to open up earlier than other places. We've been open for a couple months now.
Nice.
Yeah.
So we were only
the key
mandatory
to
shut down
is
for
gonna-
2 months.
Okay.
The key definitely is to just be broke to the point that you can't open anything up in the first place,
Yeah.
and then
That's how you pandemic proofed yourself, Seth?
that's how I thrived. I saw it coming. I was like, you know what? There's something fishy happening. There's something fishy in the water.
He
Yeah.
saw it. He knew. That's why he didn't open his own gym.
That was why I didn't become very successful. Is because I was like, there's got to be some downside to this.
So Shane, if you've never had your ass kicked in a street fight, which we all can attribute to that one weird trick, but competitively, you've had some losses, right?
Yeah, I lost one Muay Thai fight, and I lost 3 or 4 boxing matches. But all decisions.
So you've never had your ass kicked?
Man, I wish I could give you guys a good story. I'm trying to think.
That's crazy, man.
I've been humbled.
Right.
Sure.
Now, in sparring, and so we talked earlier on in the beginning of the podcast, what we're talking about is that feeling of, and so this is a good example. So Shane grew up fighting with people and getting inoculated to that stress and getting inoculated over and over and over again, and probably got crazier and wilder. And as he said, as he grew older, his friends started getting into worse stuff, right? Mm-hmm. You gradually build that. People weren't coming at him with guns and knives when he was 8, hopefully, but you build up your ability to respond to that through exposure to that stress. But damn, Shane Faison never had his ass kicked. That's going to be a good title for this one. Shane Faison has never had his ass kicked.
I'm curious. Do people ever obviously people know who you are. Does anybody ever try you? Do you ever get the vibe that somebody's like, yeah, how are you, Shane? If they see you in public?
Never on the streets, but if I go to someone's gym and we're play sparring or moving around sparring, it'll real quick, the intensity will pick up, and I'm like, I'll take a step back and be like, let's just go light, me with head kicks and that kind of thing.
I actually reached out to Shane when I first started having YouTube success. Shane, do you remember I asked you? I said, hey, have you ever had any weirdos calling you and coming by, trying to come by your place and all this kind of stuff going on? And you're like, nah, man, it doesn't really happen to me. And I was like, damn it.
Dang it. But you have, right? You said
yes.
It was common for a little bit there?
It got a little choppy for a couple weeks. I don't know what I was... Well, I know what I was doing, but... So I messaged Shane. I messaged Chewy, because he owns a school. And I was like, hey, have people come in and try to, And he's like, no, not really. Everyone I kept I was reaching out to people who were ahead of me in the game. Hey, does this happen to you? And they're like, nah, man, that's just you, homie.
So you were like, you know what? Street beefs. We're just going to settle this.
Well, what happened is when I first started, I didn't have too much trouble with trolls because I was doing street beefs. And it sort of just... sort of established, but I haven't done anything like that in a while, but
I'll go in there with you.
I do get some weirdos. I do get some weirdos that come in and try to, and you know what? I could say this, and Shane, you've had the opportunity to meet and train with and spar with all kinds of people at all levels, professional fighters, instructors, other YouTubers and stuff. What has been my experience, and I'd love to hear your take, is every time I meet someone from YouTube, or even if it's a competitive fighter or somebody, and I've seen them train or even seen them fight or seen them spar, when I go with them, they're always better than they seemed on video.
When I went against Wonderboy, which Seth, I'm sure, can attest to this, it was I knew going into it that he was going to be...
Right, he's good. He's great. But you don't grasp.
And first off, I was like, damn, he's way bigger than I realized. And that caught me off guard. But then to have a guy that is that big, but can also have dexterity in his legs and control with his movement
Yeah.
and move that quick, it was overwhelming.
Yeah.
It was really overwhelming.
Yeah,
And
I
then when
got
went
kicked in the
against-
ear almost immediately.
Yeah.
I love that video. Did you post that today, Seth? Where it's like you landed one head kick and then
I got mine. I got my one.
Yeah, that's
And
the
then,
yeah. He didn't think that Seth would be able to do anything, so he did one thing, and he's like, okay, I'm not gonna let him do anything else. Yeah, it's been my experience. It's been my experience that when you see people on video, you don't get a real sense of them. So I think when people come in, and also because I play the clown, my instructor says I'm too clowny, and I don't show anything. You know what I mean? They don't take me seriously, so they come into spar and they think they're gonna push me around, and I'm not saying I always beat everyone up, but I'm saying it like hey, dude, we train. You know what I mean? I know I joke and stuff, and I play with plastic shields on YouTube, but we train.
What's funny is that Shane, Mike and I actually met, and had never met before.
Oh shit, this is funny.
At your seminar in Charlotte.
Oh shit, that was funny.
At Fit to Fight.
Yeah.
Yep.
So Shane, he was trying to take a picture with you. He was fanboying out and trying to get his picture taken with you of you sidekicking him and him selling like.
He's trying to get my thumbnail.
Yeah.
Thumbnail.
Do you remember that? You probably don't remember that because
No,
it was
happens
meaningless
all the
to
time,
you.
I'm sure.
But but I was waiting to talk to you, and I was looking at Seth like, "All right, kid, you got your picture."
Did you know who Seth was at the
No, I didn't know. I didn't know who he was. I was like, "Move along, kid," and then he was like, I think he said something to me, and I was like, "Yeah, oh yeah, super cool bottle cap challenge. Yeah, you're great." I was like, "Fuck off, kid! I'm trying to talk to Shane."
Hey, kid, that's real nice. Get out of here.
Yeah.
And then what was funny is we had chatted, and you started to, at the end of the seminar, you were like, "Yeah, we've got another martial arts internet personality here." I was like, "What? That's crazy. He's about to say my name." And then he's like, "Yeah, I see Mike," and I was like, you know
now I feel bad.
You know that like pre-cry breath where you're like.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
yeah. That's him. And that's actually how I was like, oh, okay. And then I reached out to Mike afterwards to sponge followers from him.
Yeah, he started chasing clout.
In my defense, I saw you more as like an Instagram guy.
Yeah, I was gonna say Instagram doesn't count anyway. It's fine.
Right. The context, and there was some context, so viewers don't think that Shane is a monster.
Oh,
the context was
right.
Shane was doing his Q&A at the end of the seminar, and he said, typically I get questions about YouTube. He said YouTube.
Yeah.
And he said, normally I get a question like, how do I get 1 million subscribers? And he said, no YouTube questions. And I raised my hand. I was like, how do I get 1 million subscribers? You know, it's like and everyone kind of laughed. But yeah, so it wasn't that Shane was like.
I don't know. I don't think that many people laughed. I don't know.
Before you think Shane's a monster.
Yeah. Shane's like, get out of here, Instagrammer. We're YouTubers.
Go kick a bottle somewhere.
Yeah. Go make a 15-second post so you can be famous for 15 seconds.
All right, gentlemen, I'll let you get to it.
Thank you so much Hey, Shane, so listen, while I got you on the spot, I would love to do like a real sit-down, like a Skype, like video like interview with you.
Can I say no, respectfully?
Fine. Yes,
Dude, I gotta be honest. I hate doing podcasts, and I've had
you've never done this one. I'm gonna give you the full treatment. Fine, say no.
That's what they all say.
Say no. That's fine. No, fine.
Let me think about it, and I'll give you a full response. But I've been saying no to like literally so many people have been reaching out. Like everyone started their own podcast over COVID, and I've been like just saying no. And,
no, I get it. It's fine. No, I don't want you on the podcast anymore.
They stress me out. Like this, I was able to call in because it was on the spot, and I didn't have time to
didn't have enough time to think about it.
Yeah.
All right, Shane. Well, I appreciate you.
Maybe I'll call in from time to time. How about that?
Okay, we'll see.
That'll keep people coming into every one. They heard me say that, and I'm like,
right, because that's what they want. They want that fight tips goodness. All right, man. I appreciate you.
All right, I'm hanging up.
All right,
guys. Have a good one.
See you. See, now, Mike, what I'm going to do is I'm never going to ask, and this way I can say I've never been told no. I've got that over you.
He'll come back. He'll be back.
He'll come back. They always
come back. He's gonna see.
That was fun.
He's gonna see. He's gonna find out that hard to hurt moves the needle. He just doesn't see it yet. He's looking at the sub counts. Don't look at the sub counts. Don't be fooled. Hard to hurt moves the needle. All right. That was crazy, man. We had a real life YouTube like OG, like the tip top is like I would say he's like the Jay-Z of
oh yeah, easily.
The Jay-Z of internet martial arts.
What was fun is I was like, Mike knows how I feel now. And then I remembered that I'm still back here.
You're coming along, man. Dude, it's about to happen. It's about to happen. You're on the cusp.
You can taste it.
Someone said Kubotan is the best tool ever. Wrong. Well, it's not the worst anymore. This is the worst.
Somebody should have some sort of ranking system so people can just know.
Yeah, that'd be good. What if they did? Someone should do like those tier lists you do. You do a tier list.
Yeah, you do a tier list, and you like break it all down. Of
like martial arts weapons as far as their practicality and legality for self-defense. That would make a good video. Yeah, exactly. You would need...
Yeah, for sure.
You would need a guy who is an expert at talking about weapons on the internet.
On the internet?
And then you need another guy to like move the stuff around on the screen.
Yeah, right. Yeah, somebody who can like, make it flow together, but then also somebody who can bring the knowledge. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you should test out one of the weapons on the video.
Definitely. Sounds like a plan.
Yeah.
Well, all right. That concludes this episode of Icy Mike Imperfect. Catherine Johnson says Icy Mike refuses to read his feed. See, I just screwed up. What you were doing. And yes, I was reading it. But I can only do so many things. If you were in the YouTube chat, it's super hard for me to keep up with that. Generally, the Podbean chat is a little more succinct, and sometimes I can watch that. But what I try most to do is make sure that I'm addressing my guests and callers. That's what I'm trying to do. So I apologize if I missed any of the chat in the YouTube or podcast or Podbean. Sorry. But if you want to be a caller, you get the Podbean app. Follow Icy Mike Imperfect. Catherine Johnson says Icy Mike doesn't talk to me. That's not true either. I'm talking to you right now specifically by name.
Catherine.
Yeah, so you're wrong. You're wrong all the way around. And I read your comment earlier when you said I don't think Icy Mike reads this feed. So, how about that?
How about
that? See? You look goofy. You're looking goofy right now. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Seth. Thank you, Shane. Thank you, Hayden. I got to get on that thing. Thank you, Mars Bars earlier, and Stevie, and the Spanish gentleman, with the cool accent, and then the Brazilian guy who grabbed a handful into the guy. Which guy was it that got his thighs whapped by a ruler while he was trying to pee?
Oh yeah, old pee pants.
Peed all over himself and got beat up and got whipped with a ruler.
Sorry, so you gotta wrap this up fast.
Yeah, all right, man. Well, that was a great podcast. Thank you guys so much. Have a good night.